coming in exclusive that CNN News 18 gets for you. Let's cut across to those breaking developments. Well, these are developments which are coming in from the UK. This is coming in about shocking discrimination drive in UK. A study into the discrimination faced by certain Hindu youth in the UK. This study seeks to begin to understand what anti-Hindu hate really looks like and the extent to which it is manifesting in UK by initially looking at the prevalence of discrimination against Hindu pupils in the schools. There's a significant Indian origin population in the United Kingdom. The report finds that 51% of Hindu parents surveyed report that their child had experienced some kind of discrimination in schools. Less than 1% of schools surveyed reported any anti-Hindu related incidents in the last 5 years. Anand Narasimhan with us on the broadcast, our managing editor. Anand, help us understand who exactly has put out this report, which organization, and what all does it enumerate?
Well, this is perhaps the first comprehensive report and study into how Hindus are being treated within the British education system. It's been the study has been conducted by the Henry Jackson Society. It's a center on social and political risk, and this is the anti-Hindu hate in schools. It's been done. The author is Charlotte Littlewood, and we have Dr. Rishi Manda and also Baroness Verma involved in the conduct of the research and of course the overall study. What does this study very clearly say? Let's try and understand. These are the key findings and we need to read them very, very carefully. One of the aspects is that 51% of the parents of Hindu pupils surveyed have reported that their child has experienced anti-Hindu hate in schools, while fewer than 1% of schools with Indian pupils queried by the FOI reported any anti-Hindu related incidents that in the last 5 years. So they have not reported anything. But 51%, 1%, less than 1% of schools have actually reported any incident, but 51% of the parents have said that their children have faced something. Teaching on Hinduism has been reported by participants of this study as fostering religious discrimination towards Hindu pupils. 19% of Hindu parents surveyed believe schools are able to identify Hindu hate, but 15% of the Hindu parents believe schools adequately address anti-Hindu hatred. Look at the gap. 51% of the parents feel that their children have faced Hindu hate, but only 15% of the parents are actually saying that the issue is adequately being addressed. So it clearly is a serious problem. This entire aspect, it stands out. Let's look into what the foreword says. And it says, the foreword that's been now written by Ben Everett, an MP, says we in the UK should be proud of our multicultural, multi-faith society. However, there is more to be done to ensure those of minority faiths are free from discrimination and prejudice, particularly within our education system. What we know is that many forms of prejudice and discrimination are institutionalized and often difficult to pin down and isolate. Therefore, I welcome this pioneering national study into the nature and extent of discrimination that young Hindu people are facing within our education system. One of the most revealing findings in this report is the prevalence of certain slurs in the classroom and around school, which can only serve to alienate young Hindu people. Young Hindus are facing a range of prejudice which targets their religion to xenophobia. What is clear is that this type of discrimination is going under the radar, with incidents not being properly recorded and reported. Now, this is just a foreword. Beyond damaging slurs that Hindu children are being subjected to schools, it is also clear we need to look at the standard of teaching around religious education if you want to really make sustained changes. This is what this is being said. Let's look at the next page. Now, this is the entire summary. I'm going to quickly move to some of the research methodology and some of the results. The results are very, very interesting, which stand out that they have, as I'm just quickly going through the research methodology, the sampling, and I'm coming up to the results. Now, this is the volunteered case examples. 254 parents chose to share details of incidents in schools. Details were coded into themes. The themes were chosen to reflect the fact that some issues appeared in high frequency. Theme 1, anti-Hindu slurs. References made to polytheism, religious practices and idol worship. This has been grouped as anti-Hindu slurs. You don't know about your own religion. You have so many gods. Your religion is idol worship, even though they were corrected to say deity worship, and they continue to insist it's the same. When teachers say these things, they undermine the students and make a mockery of them. The other thing, my child went to school with a religious symbol on his forehead. He was bullied until he no longer wanted to attend school. Over the years, we have had to change his school 3 times within East London. My daughter was bullied at school and had beef thrown at her by classmates as she is a Hindu. Jesus will send your gods to hell. References to Christian supremacy, xenophobic, racist slurs like shouting, "Go back home, you Paki," "White kids gang up and don't talk to Hindu kids." So these are things which are being seen. Even people convert to Islam, asserting Islamic supremacy. Terms such as kafir being used. Harassed and told that if they convert to Islam, their life will become so much easier. Bullying will stop. You aren't going to survive very long. If you want to go to paradise, you have to come to Islam. Hindus are the herbivores at the bottom of the food chain. We will eat you up. So this is the kind of language that's being used. And these are some of the case samples. Out of 250 cases, some of them have been held, holding pupils responsible for the politics in India. So whatever politics is happening in India, young children are being held to blame for it, and they are having to bear the brunt of it. Other students tried to bully my daughter that she is a Hindu, saying, "Why you people break our mosque? Why you people attack us?" So we changed the school. Child has faced bullying from other children on many occasions, specifically after PM Modi's rise in India and after Article 370 was revoked. Linking Hinduism to the caste system. Lots of bullying from other people about different God, and even shaming my children about caste system and about Modi in India. Some children try and tell my children to watch videos of Zakir Naik and convert because Hinduism makes no sense. Now the theme of poor teaching. In a school open day, the displayed material regarding Hinduism talked about casteism only with reference to Hinduism, even though various sects also exist in Christianity and Islam with animosity and lack of mobility between these sects. This type of selective highlighting of social evils and attributing it to Hinduism leads to bullying. Now, an RE teacher taught that Sati Pratha is part of Hinduism. This resulted in my child being alienated by classmates for being a Hindu and blaming for such a bad custom. My child has absolutely no knowledge about it, so could not answer any questions asked by friends. It impacted mental health of my child for almost a year. Then, lack of school provision. We haven't been given a holiday on Diwali on several occasions, while Muslim pupils are given 3 Eid holidays. So this discrimination is also endemic in the system. Polytheism was mentioned within 106 responses. Caste system was mentioned 15 times. Negative references to sacrality of the cow were mentioned 18 times. So the references are very clearly Hindu messiah and Hindu-phobic. And both have been highlighted in this research very clearly. Child was bullied for being a Hindu inside a classroom and also in the playground. In the classroom, Hindu beliefs and customs including caste were mocked by other students while learning about Hinduism. Students bullying Hindu students by insisting that Hindus are polytheistic. Religious education taught at school regarding Hinduism is pretty much a mockery of the religion that highlights distorted, incorrected facts, which makes it easy for kids from other religions to pick on Hindu kids. These are aspects of when we said the entire othering aspect. Despite British rule in India over 400 years, the lack of knowledge of Hinduism in the indigenous British people is overwhelming. They do not understand our deities, and this causes our children to suffer at school. Books in schools on Hinduism do not usually show the great diversity of thought, rich philosophy and acceptance of diverse views, the contribution to art, culture, society, non-violence. Books in schools on Hinduism usually focus on caste, show rituals in poor light. So this is clearly a convoluted, ideologically driven narrative about Vedic traditions, about Hindu traditions, about Hindu teachings, the science, the metallurgy, the chemistry that we learned, the mathematics that we had advanced mathematics knowledge of. All of that is not spoken about. All that is spoken about is distorted narratives which seemingly stem from certain ideological moorings. Now let's look at all of these responses. The current UK approach, they've said, how do we counter this? The Education Inspections Act, they have come to a conclusion. I'm just quickly coming to the conclusion. Karan Kataria is live with us, but I'm just going to go to this. This report highlights the prevalence of discrimination against Hindus in British schools. 51% of Hindu parents surveyed reporting their child suffered anti-Hindu hate. They have also said it is alarming that only 19% of parents surveyed believe schools are able to identify anti-Hindu hate, indicating that the issue is not being addressed adequately. Then, that there is a tendency to downplay such incidents as playground banter. However, several studies have observed that faith-based bullying has the potential to be more impactful than other forms of bullying, precisely because it targets not just the victim but their entire family, heritage and culture. Schools should reflect on the harm such slurs cause as well as the wider community divisions that may be helping to foster.